everyone, today's podcast is on IFRS 2 share based payment. This is a pretty long standard, so I will be dividing this entire podcast into 2 or 3 parts so that it will be easy to listen. Now, beginning with the accounting standard IFRS 2 share based payment, the first thing I'm going to discuss is equity. There are 3 types of share based payment transactions that are equity settled share based payment transaction. Second is cash settled share based payment transaction, and third is transaction with choice of settlement. Each of this type will be discussed in detail. Beginning with a very brief definition of meaning, I will be explaining with each of this type. The first type, that is equity settled share based payment transaction. Share based transaction, or you can simply say the first equity settled share based payment transaction. It is entity receive goods and service in exchange for equity instruments. This means equity settled transaction means the organization. Obviously, the standard is from the perspective of us. We are buying something, anything, goods or service, and now the payment has to be made. So, entity receive good, we considering us as entity, we have received the goods or service. Now the payment has to be made, but the payment is in exchange of, not in form of cash, but it is in form of equity instruments, shares. Okay. The second type, cash settled share based payment transaction. Entity receive goods or services in exchange of amount of cash that based on the price value of entity's share. In this entire standard, the transaction, the mode of payment is based on shares, equity instrument. So it's pretty simple that if I do this thing, that all the mode of payment are shares. So in this, the second type, the cash settled share based payment transaction, the entity is receiving goods and services in exchange of amount of cash that is based on the price or value of entity's share. For example, a company bought a building for $500,000, and now they have agreed that I will make the payment. But the mode of payment, the cash value is not, the value of the building is not yet decided, that I will pay you after the 3 months based on 50,000 shares of my company or 10,000 shares of my company, whatsoever will be the value. So there's a delay in the payment. And the third type, that is transaction with the choice of settlement. Transaction with the choice of settlement, the name simplifies it. There is a choice of settlement. The entity receive goods or services, and either entity has choice as to whether settle the transaction in cash or by issuing the instrument. Here the choice of settlement is cash or equity instrument, and either entity, either the buyer or either the seller, have the choice of settlement in cash or in equity instrument. Either we can have it or either the other party can have it. Obviously, it will be predictable if we have the choice of settlement, but if other party have the right, then it will be unpredictable. So it will be explained later in this session that what will happen. Now, beginning with the few terms I want to explain to you that are important before we begin to enter in the standard. That is, I'm discussing very few terms that need to be made clear. The first term is grant date. Grant date is the agreement date. Agreement date, what is the agreement date? It's the agreement date between the buyer or the seller, the company and the employee, that is the agreement between the two parties that now we are entering into a share based payment transaction or whatsoever. It is the agreement date. Grant date is the agreement date between the two parties. If the agreement is subject to shareholder approval, Then obviously shareholder approval is required. Why? Because equity instruments are involved. Then approval date becomes the grant date. For example, if we are going to enter into a transaction, but approval is going to be made after 3 months, a month later, obviously a shareholding meeting have to be called up, and this has to be decided, number of shares to be offered, or the transaction of share based payment is to be made or not. So it will take time. So approval date is the grant date, or any approval date, agreement date is the grant date. The other term is vesting condition. Vesting is eligibility. In order to become eligible, there are some conditions, and these conditions can be market based and non-market based. These can be market and non-market based. Now, beginning with the first type, that is equity settled share based payment transaction. If I explain you what will be the double entry of this, the debit will be the expense, and equity and credit will be equity. What is the double entry? Debit the expense and credit the equity. Now, equity settled share based payment transaction, this is the entire I will be discussing. Beginning with the first measurement, measurement of equity settled share based payment transaction. Equity settled share based payment transaction are measured at fair value, and fair value will depend upon who the transaction is with. So first point, that equity settled share based payment transaction are measured at the fair value of what? Fair value of shares, and it will depend upon the fair value, and fair value will depend upon who the transaction is with. In reality, there are two type of transaction in this type: equity settled share based payment transaction with a third party. Here the third party means other than employee, any party other than employee. And transaction with third party means other than employees is called a direct method. And here measurement of fair value, we measure the fair value of goods and services. Transaction recognized when goods and services are received. So transaction with third party means people other than employee. It is a direct method. Measurement is on the fair value of goods and services, and transaction recognized is when goods and services are received. Then other method is indirect method, transaction with employees. Transaction with employees, we measure the fair value of shares granted at the grant date. So we measure at the fair value of shares granted at the grant date and spread over vesting period. Transaction. So to summarize here, transaction with third party and transaction with employees. Transaction with third party measures at the fair value of goods and services and measure the fair value of shares granted at grant date. Transaction with third party, transaction is recognized when goods and services are received. Transaction with employees is spread over vesting period. So a transaction with the third party, on the basis of debit, transaction is recorded, and in the transaction with employees, on the basis of credit entry, transaction is recorded. So this is the types of equity settled with employees, indirect method, other than employees, yet we can say the third party, direct method. So moving forward, we have some vesting conditions. Vest simply means eligibility. Vest eligibility there can be some conditions for eligibility. There can be a period or there can be a date. Conditions can be going deeper in this eligibility of vesting term, that is condition. Conditions can be market based, non-market based. Non-market based condition like service condition, for example, an employee has to achieve a service condition. For example, an employee have to cover a period of 3 years. Or so vesting condition, market or non-market. Non-market condition are service conditions. For example, an employee has to cover a period of 3 years before he becomes eligible. And EPS target, earning per share target, sales target, and market condition only includes share price. Moving to the next, eligibility or vesting, it can be conditions, period and date. Period simply means a period, and date means employee has to cover a period of 2 year, 3 year, or any period. And date simply means on 1st March 2025 an employee will become eligible, on 2022 whatsoever. Moving to the next, IS2 reporting contradicts with the conceptual framework expense definition. Why? So this is the main thing why IS2 reporting contradicts with the conceptual framework expense definition. So this will be explained in the current issue section why it contradicts, but this time you only need to know that IS2 reporting contradicts with the conceptual framework expense definition. Now, what are non-market based vesting conditions? Non-market based vesting conditions are the conditions that are not related to the market value of entity's share price or entity share. Non-market conditions irrelated of the share price. Those conditions are revised at each reporting date. Only the number of share options or number of share options expected to be vested will be accounted for, and on the vesting date the entity should revise the estimate to the actual number of share options that do actually vest. So non-market conditions are any conditions other than the market value of entity's share, and these conditions are revised at each reporting date. They are accounted, the expense will be accounted for on the number of expected share options that are going to be vested, and on the vesting date. Now, on the vesting date, entity will revise the estimate to the actual number of share options that actually vest. Okay. Now the other option is moving next. What is share options? Share options are options given to employee or third party that you have a right, that you will be given a right to buy the share. You have an option. So share options have two measurement methods: direct measurement method and indirect measurement method. Direct measurement method is transaction with the third party. Who is third party? Any person other than employees. Transaction is recognized when goods and services are received, and transactions are measured at fair value of goods and services. Indirect method, transaction with employees. Transaction with employees can be immediately vesting, or there will be a vesting condition. And when the vesting condition, if there is immediate vesting, then expense will be recorded at the moment in the full amount. But if there are some vesting condition, eligibility criteria, expense report over the vesting period. Now, vesting conditions can be non-market conditions and market plus non-market conditions. I'm going to repeat this part. Transaction, indirect method, transaction with employees can be immediate vesting and vesting condition. If there is a vesting condition, expense report over the vesting period. So conditions can be non-market conditions, or market plus non-market conditions. Non-market conditions like option value remain unchanged, option condition revised at each reporting date. When there is a non-market conditions vesting condition, then option value remain unchanged. A value of option will be decided at the grant date, but the condition revised at each reporting date. Like option, today the option value is decided $3. It will remain constant throughout the vesting period, but the option conditions revised at each reporting date. And non-market condition revised at each reporting date. What are non-market conditions? Like number of options. For example, a company said that if the share price, if certain conditions exist, then we will give you 3,000 options. But after 2 years, they are saying, no, we are going to give you 4,000 options. There can be change in number of options. Or there can be a time period if vesting condition varies. Like if a company says, yeah, the eligibility criteria is after 2 years. Now, after a year, they say, no, 2 more years. Now, in total, there are 3 years. So, vesting conditions, non-market conditions may, in non-market share of number of options can vary, time period can vary. And the other thing is market plus non-market conditions. So, market-based conditions, vesting condition linked to the market price of shares in some way. For example, the condition is linked to the market price of share in any way. Example can be minimum increase in share price. Like a company say there should be a minimum $1 increase, 5% increase. This can be the minimum increase in share price. Minimum increase, or it can be a minimum increase in shareholder return. A specified target share price relative to an index of market price. For example, a company said that specified target share price, like if $4 today the share price is $1. For example, if the target is like that, if the share price reaches $5, then you will become eligible, or you will get the options. You will be able to exercise the option. So market-based conditions are already considered when calculating the fair value of equity instrument at the grant date. They are not affecting when estimating the number of share options likely to vest at each reporting date. If shares do not vest, any amount recognized in financial statement will remain. This is the important aspect. To repeat this, what is entire market-based condition is vesting condition linked to the market price or the share price of a company in any way. Minimum increase in share price, minimum increase in shareholder return, share price reaching a specified target. So, market-based conditions are considered when calculating the fair value of equity instruments at the grant date. They are not affected when estimating the number of share options likely to vest at each reporting date. And if shares do not vest, any amount recognized in financial statement will remain. Now, market and non-market based condition both. When there is a condition attached to employee given to a share option, there are both market and non-market based vesting condition. Where market and non-market condition coexist, it makes no difference whether market conditions are achieved or not. Why? Because market conditions are already considered when calculating the fair value of equity instrument at the grant date. So, non-market non-market condition example, specific situation, non-market conditions. Vesting condition vary, number of instrument can vary, X price vary. So this will be explained in detail. Specific situation when non-market condition, vesting condition vary, number of equity instrument vary. There are times when non-market based condition have vesting condition varies, number of equity instrument, X price vary. Okay, what is the accounting after the vesting date? Accounting after the vesting date. IFRS 2 states that no further adjustment to the equity should be made after the vesting date. This applies even if some of the equity instruments do not vest. Entity may, however, transfer any balance from other component of equity to retain earning. So after the accounting after the vesting date, any adjustment to equity no further adjustment to the total equity is made after the vesting date. This apply even some of the shares are do not vest. Entity, however, other component of equity balance to retain earning. So what is the double entry? What is the double entry if the option is exercised? If the option is exercised, bank is going to be debit. Why? Because we are getting the money. We are getting the money from the employees. So option is exercised. We are the employer. We are the company. You have to consider the entry from the perspective of employer or the company or the organization. So option is exercised. Bank is going to be debit. And credit will be share capital and share premium respectively with their figures. Plus, there will be another entry that will be passed when an option is exercised, that is equity debit and share premium or other reserves will be credit. This is the entry is the reversal of previous entry made of expense debit and equity debit. Why? Because we are now going to cancel the previous equity account we have created with expense debit and equity credit. So the entry will be equity debit. One account of equity is debit and one account of equity is credit. The credit here will be share premium or any other reserves.